even if 7 years from now and you crunch every day and you jack off to my podcast and you know everything about me and I find you in my bushes and it's still not the way, I promise you, you being every day better will make you a better person in general, and you'll be equipped to take that L in person and hopefully stalk someone else.
This podcast has been brought to you by Adderall.
I'm back on coke, Mom. That's amazing.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Menage-A-Pod, the hysterical comedy podcast about sex, dating, relationships, and anything else we feel like talking about. I'm TJ. As always, I'm joined by my co-host, BFF, and the ray of sunshine when skies are gray, Jenna.
That's so
what's up?
Sweet. They just keep getting nicer and nicer.
Yeah, I felt like being nice to you today.
Years, right?
I'm setting a tone.
Yeah.
With people that I like here today, and I don't feel like the energy of me being just like a complete disaster and shitting on you for an hour would be really...
That's fair. I appreciate that.
I figured you might like it.
I feel like we should have guests around us more often then. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
All right. Well, before we introduce these wonderful guests, why don't we talk about our fantastic sponsors?
Sure. Do it.
All right. I know I mentioned in our last episode that I was lucky enough to get kind of a little swag pack from a local clothing designer, that Titchy Brands. Well, they reached out about sponsoring an episode, so we wanted to tell you a little bit about them. Titchy Brands is an ever-growing and ever-evolving street-style apparel and lifestyle brand that is on a mission to show that you don't have to be from the coast to live your best skater fantasies. Most designs are created by the owner of the brand, Rose Tasheva. However, talented people know other talented people, and Rose likes to reach out to other artists and feature their work. Keep an eye out for the best of Illinois and pop culture designs set to launch this summer. So this is what you guys need to do. Follow Titchy on Instagram and Facebook at Titchy Brand, and also sign up on their website, and you'll be entered into random monthly drawings for free stickers, t-shirts, and even custom painted skate decks. I actually have one. It's fucking incredible. And for the month of June, one winner who also follows Menage-A-Pod, us, on Instagram and Facebook, and subscribes to the podcast will win a bundle pack, and Rose will reach out to you personally and help you fulfill those items. So make sure you go to www.tichy.store. www.tichy.store. And Jenna, we still got to get you your little swag pack.
I know. That's exactly what I was going to say. I'm still waiting for mine.
We're doing that.
But I also love that you qualified that Menage-A-Pod was us.
Yes.
I hope you guys know that if you're listening here.
At this point,
FYI, this is where you are.
2 years and 98 episodes in, here we are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think now is as good a time as any to introduce our wonderful guest.
Yeah.
Do you want to do it or should I?
You can do it.
Okay. Today we have a special treat for you with not just one, but two incredible guests. I want to start with a voice that might be familiar to some of you. Our first guest is an absolute powerhouse to the Chicago comedy scene and one of our best friends. He's a regular at the Laugh Factory and Zanies and just started producing a monthly show at the Lincoln Lodge called Sorry for Killin, featuring some of the killingest comics from all across the country. The first show this month was standing room only, one of the best shows I've seen. So with no further ado, welcome podcaster, comedian, actor, dog dad, and Menage-A-Pod all-star, making his third appearance, Zako Ryan.
I know.
Damn.
You're like you might as well just be one of us. We should just add a third mic.
This is
and
the
just
fifth
have
time
you.
that some combination of us have done a podcast together.
Yeah.
There's four of us. This is Menage-A-Quattro now.
Yeah.
Change the name. Thanks for having me. And the donuts and the dog.
You're so
This is
welcome.
a place. This is good. This is a place of warmth and happiness.
It-
There's mimosas
love
here without
hearing
orange
that.
juice. That's my favorite kind of mimosas.
It's
you
Right.
the best.
don't
kinds.
even look at me with your orange juice.
I still
I mean,
call it a
so
mimosa
that
so
it's
people don't
just-
judge me.
Don't even
Champagne.
look at me. I don't.
Okay.
Prosecco in a cup. I
Yeah,
don't care.
sure,
All right.
sure.
Well, in the
Cheapest shit too.
In the spirit of the
Well-
warmth and friendliness, why don't we also introduce our second guest?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, okay, go ahead.
Our
must.
second guest is a friend of ours and one of the funniest stand-ups working in the Midwest right now. She's also the owner of one of the funniest Instagram bios I've ever seen, which reads, half Asian Hoosier, socially activated stand-up, writer and producer, and one of the funniest comics that Reggie Miller of NBA fame's ever seen. And I love this, no tits and 8 tats. You can see her regularly in comedy clubs all around Indiana and also on her monthly visits to Chicago, where she's performed at the Laugh Factory and some of the other best rooms around the city. With no further ado, welcome Hannah Roeschlein.
Thank you so much for having me.
It is our pleasure. Welcome to the show.
What a bullshit introduction. First of all, I'm the
I know, are you
podcast
mad?
dog dad guy, and she's like, next,
I
welcome
know.
to the funniest comic you're ever going to hear in your life. You've never heard it before.
I
But funny,
called-
funny, funny, and funny.
I called
funny,
you
funny.
I called you a powerhouse, bro.
Yeah.
I'm the
You did.
mitochondrian, and she's
You
the
did.
funniest comic you've seen in the country.
I'm the cell wall at best. I
Get
mean,
back to my Prosecco.
That is fair.
The egos in this room. I love them.
I was just thinking with your intro, that was one of the most flattering things I'd ever heard.
Yeah.
And then for you to just so quickly, just...
Do you know what we missed,
Listen, I just
though?
had to drive and try to park a 10-foot tall white van in the middle of downtown Chicago while the busiest street in the city is shut down so people can eat brunch in the middle of it because we need to get money back into the pockets. I'm a little antsy.
I can tell. It's fine. It's fine.
I just love that you drive a white van.
I was
like
sitting
not
right
creepy
next
at
to
all.
him.
It's got the
in said
blinds,
van.
too.
Of course
so,
it
like, you
does.
can't see
Of
through the windows?
course it does. Yeah, that's not creepy at all.
He's also like belly aching like I wasn't his co-pilot in said van during
Fair.
said parking disaster.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you make it any
Gridlock
worse?
nightmare.
You know what I mean? I'm stuck in there.
Wow.
So cute.
And yet she seems so much more level-headed about the whole experience, Zako.
Yeah.
Why-
She
why
wasn't
it's so hard to
driving.
just sit in the passenger
Yeah.
seat and chill. I'm over here
And hit
stressing.
she's just hitting the vape
Stop,
pen,
go.
giggling
I
at
just
your ass.
replaced the transmission. I feel it wanting to go again. I'm sorry, my van was just in the Nashville River 6 months ago, all right? It's been a wild year,
Wow.
and it's all...
The thing has been on an adventure.
When initially, so a little background story, letting people behind the curtain, when they were looking for a parking spot, Jenna was going to spot hero them a spot, which was in a garage. And for a minute, I wondered, Zako, if you would have some apprehension about leaving. When I heard there might be a valet involved, I was like, he just got his shit stolen. Is he like nervous about giving this to the valet?
No, I wasn't nervous about giving it to the valet. I told her, I was like, damn, I feel bad. Someone's got to drive this thing. Dude, are you kidding me? Like, someone else has to drive this? And she tried. She called the spot hero, right? So we pull up and we like pull into the thing and it's this retirement home. And I'm like, I can't park here. So I run in and I'm like, hey, where's the spot hero spot? And she's like, oh, it's those garages over there. It's these garages for like lawnmowers. Like I can't fit a 10-foot tall van
For
in there.
sure. It's the kind of garages that are behind like a school district where there's like a Can-Am or a fucking ATV that they use to pull the chain at the softball diamond. Like,
Yeah, and then they
we
judged
were
me in
not
the second
getting
place.
in there.
You
We
definitely
were,
live in Indiana. Holy fuck.
for sure. I mean,
I was like, what is that reference?
We both just looked at it like,
it's
no,
rural.
hell
It's
no.
me.
They ain't getting that in there, bro. They ain't getting that in there. And
No,
then you
I
get the
knew.
second one. So we go to the second spot and it's an uncovered parking lot, right? And there's one parking spot there left. And we're like, hell yeah. So we get in, we back up into it, turn the van off, ready to go. We've succeeded. Guy comes out of the garage and goes, nah, man, we are filled. And I was like, what are you talking about? This is the last spot. I just backed right into it. And he looks, he's like, this van? I was like, yeah. He's like, man, we are filled. Get this thing the fuck out of here. And he made me leave the van. He didn't want the van in the parking spot. There was a parking spot right there. And he was like, nah, we're full.
Do you think a
That's
similar thing
shitty.
happens to dudes with big dicks?
Tell you to leave? No,
Well, no,
they
women.
married.
I was
Women.
like,
They
It's like a
no.
shallow vagina joke. They're like, you see it, and they're like, sir, you're going to have to leave. I can't handle that. Cannot make accommodations. Spot hero denied.
I wouldn't know, my friend. I wouldn't know. I don't know if you've heard my set.
Many times.
I have.
All right. Well, what's before we jump into the topic, what's been going on with everybody? Why don't we start off with you, Hannah? Tell us a little bit about what's been going on in comedy for you. Any shows you got going on? What's up with you?
I always have some things swirling around me. Currently, I'm running sort of a hybrid program out of Indianapolis where I have just started in this calendar year to self-produce headlines at home, which shout out to Indianapolis and the base of human beings that I have around me there because I haven't not sold out a show since New Year's Eve.
That's incredible.
And that is a flex because my haters listen to this because they have nothing else to jack off to. So shout outs to you, pencil dicks. I'm booked and blessed. Aside from that, I started to come into Chicago for some of my first shows ever. I was planning to move here last summer pre-COVID, and I did my first shows here on Valentine's Day of 2020. And then right after that, we went indoors and everything kind of changed. But a year later, I'm in a slightly different position, I would say better. Because last Valentine's Day when I was here, I let a toxic ex boink me on an Airbnb futon under a flag that said golf clap. So
We've all been there
we're-
at some point.
Did you golf clap at the end?
I don't know if everything got better, but I think I created COVID, and also I'm sorry. We're all growing. But now I'm here, and I got past the Laugh Factory, and I get to be on shows with this fucking knucklehead next to me, and on cool
awesome.
podcasts like this.
Are you
Who are you even talking to?
still thinking of moving here or no?
It's definitely now a little bit more in the back of my mind, especially when a booker here in town in his message to me was like, well, just let us know when you decide to finally move here. And I'm like, well, that feels like an invitation. I don't understand what you're asking me to do. But I'm also a person, I'm 37 years old. I'm not in a hurry to Polaroid a process. I look forward to
Yeah.
being a professional, and I know that every day I have to continue to do this in one way, shape, or form. So as things become more sense-making or accessible to me in this city, well, potentially this could be a different conversation.
Yeah.
But right now I can do the back and forth.
Yeah, it's not that far, right? I don't even know.
No,
You get
it's
me
less
out of the
than-
city and
it's
I'm a
less
little
than
lost. but-
4.
Oh, that's not bad.
Less than 4, yeah. And if you're in Rosie, I mean, have you driven down there
Then
in
it
that thing
takes you
yet?
10
I've gotten dropped
probably.
off there. It's I mean, it's 4 fucking hours. It's long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty long.
Okay, so before we go, before we
How
shift,
long it took me to get here?
4 hours.
4 hours.
And you live like
Traffic in
1.5
Chicago.
miles away.
Yeah.
So before we shift to Zako, this is obviously a podcast ostensibly about dating and relationships. Are you dating anyone?
No, I'm currently untethered.
You put your business out on the
No, it's
street
okay.
like that in this Menage-A-Pod?
It's okay.
God damn.
You
It's like you've never been on this show.
It's okay.
That's going to be like the least hard-hitting question we ask you today, I'm sure.
No.
And because she's single, she gets hit on by every dude on the internet.
I get hit on by every person
I
on the
believe
internet.
it,
Every
yeah.
person. You can't see my body because this is a podcast, but it is a non-binary shape that attracts people like a tractor beam. I try to do everything to get people to leave me alone. I say, hey, I have HPV, had it forever, and people are like, we'll take it. We want to get on that slip and slide. I don't even understand. It's not a great body. It looks like a celery stick. All the time, I literally wear heels and put makeup on because I'm like, somebody's going to try to child traffic me. It's not cute.
That's how you.
And yet people celebrate me on the internet like I'm the original jerk-off jam. So keep coming to shows until you get annoyed of me, and I'll keep whittling it down to a small katana blade. I don't understand what anybody wants. I hate it.
Well,
So that's me. That's me. That's my life.
so
Sorry,
glad-
I haven't seen my therapist this week.
Therapy.
And you
what's
came
that?
to the right
You
place.
know.
Zako, have you seen your therapist this week?
Who?
Exactly. He's like, bro, I do stand up and go on podcasts all the time. Who needs a therapist?
Who? Dude. My therapist?
I just started seeing one. It was time.
Oh, yeah, I saw my therapist this week.
He's like, the therapist is the glass of prosecco I have in my hand. Right now.
Bro, if I've been going to a therapist, like, don't go to that therapist. You know what I mean?
Mission not accomplished.
It would be like backwards
exhausted.
marketing. You'd be like, hey, what therapist? He goes, well, I got a really good guy. My therapist would be messaging me like, bro, don't tell nobody you come to this office, dude. I got a guy's name. You can give him his name. He's my nemesis as a therapist.
You're like a
Tell
therapist
people you
curse.
go to Johnny over there. I hate Johnny. Don't tell him you come over here.
Oh, that's hysterical. All right. Well, we were just talking in the intro. We mentioned your new show, Sorry for Killin. And I know Hannah said she's been coming to Chicago. When's she going to be on Sorry for Killin? What's going on there?
When is it? No, she's booked, man.
In
We're
August.
super happy to have
Okay.
her.
In August, I'll be back. I believe the 12th.
Yeah, we're super happy to have her, man. Sorry for killing, dude. What a first show. Holy
was
shit.
great,
TJ
man.
came, shot the photos. Jenna didn't fucking come, so I'm not even looking this
couldn't
way.
come.
I wish my peripherals
What was
could
I
cut.
doing?
I don't know.
I don't
This
know.
off.
But
You weren't there.
I know, but you sent it to me on Facebook and I couldn't come because that's something I already
Well,
was doing.
luckily
but
for you,
I
it's
will
every
come.
month.
I was going to say, it's not like you're not
You better
dying.
have 12
I'll be at the next
excuses
one.
a year.
Okay.
I will
Well, I'll have to clear my schedule then.
So I will say this in to give Zako some respect on his name here. I go to a lot of shows all the time. I know a lot of comedians. Most of the independently booked comic shows in Chicago, it's all like the same 100 people that all know each other, and that list gets a little bit longer. And what was nicest about Zako's show is he literally got people in from out of town that were like fucking killing so well.
yeah, that's nice.
And you don't
Then
see
you don't
that
hear the
as much.
same.
No, we had an
bits over
incredible
and over.
show. So if you're in Chicago and you want to check out a show, we do Sorry for Killing. And it's at the Lincoln Lodge, which is an unbelievable place to be in. Before this quarantine happened, I never even did the Lincoln Lodge before. So it was like a pleasure to be able to do it. You know, it's the longest run independent
Yeah.
comedy club
I didn't
in
even know
the
that was
country.
a place.
I my first time doing it was
Yeah.
like 3 Fridays ago, and I did their long form bit show, and I told like an 8-minute story about taking 475 milligrams of edibles. It was great. Good
That's
times.
insane. That's-
times.
I'm glad you're still here with us.
Me too.
I was like,
Wow.
that was Wednesday. That's why I'm
Wow,
crushing
wow.
this donut. I'm like,
Yeah.
I've got about that milligram.
It's a wild run. No, we had a bunch of
Coursing
great
in me
people.
right
The
now.
first person to ever do a mic, to ever grab the mic for Sorry for Killing, well, obviously I hosted, but was Leon Rogers from WGCI, one of my favorite comedians ever. I've been watching this dude since before I even thought about doing comedy. And then the closer was Trix from Canada, just a monster headlining comedian.
Dude, the one picture of him where he's like leaning forward, shouting out, that looks
Great
fucking
picture.
incredible, dude.
But he was headlining Zanies, and then if you came out on a Thursday night, you could potentially have seen a club headliner for $15, as well as the guy from WGCI on one show. So it's like it was a great time. And it was
And the
like
rest of the lineup was
this
incredible.
hangout. We had the green room bumping. Everybody, the energy was what it was about. The comics, they all killed, but the energy from the audience and just
Yeah.
the ambiance and the way the room was set up, it was perfect.
And if you looked
Okay,
in the
fine.
crowd, the front
you don't
left
have to
corner.
sell me anymore. I'll be there next time.
So
My
fucking
God.
come, you know what I mean?
You definitely have to come to the one that I'm on.
I will definitely come to the one that you're on. Yeah.
Go before
but
that
I'll go
if you
before
can,
August,
because I'll hear
June 10th.
I'll
If you
hear
listen.
about it if you don't.
If you listen,
Same,
June,
apparently.
June 10th.
I saw the Sweet Boys on there.
Yeah, sweet boy, man. The sweetest boy, Sean Parker. He's gonna be on. One of my good buddies. You're gonna love him, especially if you like mushrooms and acid and THC stories.
Hell yeah.
I knew Sean for about 3 minutes before I was like, bro, if I could just like burn you and then I'll be high as fuck.
Yeah, Sean's like if Orange County turned into a joint, which turned into a guy, that would be who Sean Parker is.
If bro was an actual human being, it would be bro.
But just the sweetest boy. His nickname is literally the sweetest boy because he is just the sweetest boy.
All right, well,
June 10th, he'll be there.
Do you know what we didn't talk about?
what's that?
Your podcast.
My podcast?
Which
Yeah.
one? The one me and Zako are about to start about Reformed
Scared Silly
Fuckboys?
podcast?
No,
well,
Scared Silly.
we're on pause right now, but we do a Scared Silly podcast where
Yeah.
just me and one of the funniest people on the planet, Anthony Fuentes,
Yeah.
a.k.a. The Big Fish.
Yeah. And
AKA
TJ and I were both on it, so you guys should go listen to it.
Big New York. Yeah, we do. We just tell scary stories to each other and show each other scary videos
I love
and make
it.
each other laugh.
And dude, I gotta tell you, Anthony really crushed his Sam Jackson impression.
Yeah, what was it?
Oh, when we were talking about Deep Blue Sea, about the shark eating me. Oh man, guys, people at home who cannot see what we're doing, Zako is halfway through a bottle of prosecco.
Honestly,
he's been here like 20 minutes.
I'm just wondering why you're
he
not
just acknowledged he's a
Why
little drunk.
bother
I saw
using-
some eye contact.
And the funniest part is you can't see this.
that?
Like, yeah, he just
glass. Like,
he's-
just use the
he's
bottle.
holding
I don't know what it is about this podcast, man, but every time I come here, it's like I'm getting ready to just hang out. It's like when you go do the nasty show at Laugh Factory, it doesn't even feel like you're just going to do a comedy show. It's like I'm about to fucking party too. You know what I mean? I don't know what it is about this podcast.
We set
Because I've
the
gone on
mood.
podcasts where I'm like, yes, my name's Zako Ryan, and we just sorry for Killin. Thank you so much for coming to the Lincoln Lodge. Here I'm like, bro, where is the champagne? Dude,
Yeah.
let's turn this shit
Well,
up a
I think
little
we
bit.
set the
Crocs.
you did definitely wear Crocs. But I think we set the precedent the first time you were on. And it was just like straight bourbon for
That's what
like
happened.
2 hours.
That's what
and
happened.
Yeah.
And that was nervous energy because I'd like just
Really?
met y'all. Well, I was nervous, plus it was free bourbon.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
and Zako's like, that was like 2.5 years ago when you were just starting in the Chicago comedy scene, and you were
Just
just like,
starting.
man,
Brand new
free
baby
booze,
boy.
I will take this shit immediately.
Brand new baby boy, and y'all trashed
You're
me
eating a
too.
dick on stage later, and they're like, "What have you
Oh,
been doing
I
today?"
had a
You're
show
like,
after
What
that.
are you doing today? And you're like, "Sorry, dude."
I had a show after that, and trust me, I was well past drunk.
Yeah, you were going on, what was that show Corey used to, was it the one they produced?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh, what the fuck was it called? Sean and Corey produced it together, I think. I have no clue.
Buzzed.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry for killing the vibe. I'm very drunk. I shouldn't have been in public. That was my whole first year and a half of fucking comedy. You can't see me. I'm gobbling up a fucking donut like a.
I live by the 80-20 rule.
Yeah.
Here, Menage-A-Pod. That's what this is my, I live by the 80-20 rule. I'm on my shit 80% of the time. You understand me? On my shit.
Except for when you come here.
And there's 20% of the time where I'm just face deep in a bottle of Prosecco. And people will forgive 20%. People will forgive that 20. If it's like 70-30, like there's not.
That's a little too much, yeah.
It's that 30% of fuckery. But if it's just 20% of fuckery, you know what I mean?
We've actually created a scale.
Glad we've created that safe space for you to do so here.
This is my 20%. Is what
Thanks
I'm
for
saying.
giving us only 20%.
And we
Monday through Fridays, it's salad and grilled chicken, all right? But today it was a breakfast burrito.
and maybe
donuts.
a donut. Yeah.
Hey, before we launch into the topic, which I want to do right now, I also want to take credit. Zako wrote a pretty funny joke about breakfast burritos on a day he got a breakfast burrito, but only after he texted me about the breakfast burrito I got.
What was the joke?
Something about playing like gambling and eating a breakfast burrito, but it was like a shit joke.
Look at those. Those are always good.
It was pretty ridiculous.
I don't fucking remember it.
I posted a picture of this crazy burrito, and he texted me, and he was like, "You're gonna regret that." And then like 10 minutes later, he posted a picture of his own breakfast burrito along with a breakfast burrito joke. I'm like, this motherfucker.
The audacity, right?
The unmitigated gall.
To message someone about their breakfast and it's just, because I'm just laying in bed, just going, what is the joke here? Oh, there it is. And then he texts me. He's like, bro, you didn't even give me a chance to make a joke about my own experience? I hijacked his burrito experience.
Nah, man, that's your thing. All right. Well, I think this is a great time to go to the topic. So, and no pressure on anyone to actually stay on it. This is pretty open-ended. So as long as the chat is going, who really cares? Mm-hmm. But the topic for today is getting out of the friend zone, if that's possible. So for those of you who don't know the term, the friend zone refers to a situation where one individual in a friendship develops more intense feelings and wants to become more than friends. I'm going to say it's usually a dude because guys are pathetic. More often than not, the other person is unaware of the friend's desires. What's that?
Disagree.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, right? I think
Strong
it's even.
pass.
Yeah, well, as a result,
There you go with that ASMR again.
Traitor.
slow and low. He's like, nobody put Zako
He's
in the
gonna
friend
just start
zone.
blowing bubbles
What
in his
the
prosecco.
fuck is the friend zone?
The friend zone's a terrible thing that really probably isn't even real, if we're being totally honest. All right, I don't
That
think
was a
we.
mashup
I
of
feel
two
like an off
different.
the. Yeah, I don't know what that was.
Both places. I've
Sort of
never been
visionary,
to.
though. I'm into
The
it.
Twilight Zone and the friend zone. Zako's never had residence
Two
in either.
places I've never been. No, I'm just, maybe.
All right. Well, I think everyone knows what the friend zone
Yeah.
is. So why don't we just dive into it? I'm going to go around the table, Hannah, starting with you. Have you ever been friend zoned or friend zoned someone yourself? And if we have, we can talk about if there's like, if we don't agree the friend zone's real, if we think that's problematic, kind of, because I know some people think that's like a problematic idea. So what do you think?
I've definitely been on both sides of the friend zone.
Have you?
Yeah, absolutely. I have to exercise it on a daily basis because of the tomfoolery in my DMs. And there's the general vibes of the human beings that I'm around being a human too, but that mistake that for some sort of clitoral energy.
Sure.
But I just clamp my legs shut and say goodbye to boys after mics. Yeah, the friend zone is something we're all familiar with. It's clearly one of my favorite positions.
She's like, some people love missionaries, some people like doggy. I like the friend zone. I always say I like putting people in the friend zone just because I really like making friends. So Zako, how about you? Have you ever been friend zoned or friend zoned someone?
Yeah.
On both?
Yeah. There's something about that friend zone that you just try to claw your way out of, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And even if you're not even that interested in the other person, it's just like maybe I'm just that competitive.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm just like,
It's probably like an
did you just
ego
fucking
thing.
friend zone me?
Yeah, it's probably.
Because then you
an ego
forget.
thing.
Because like if you're in the friend zone, but maybe like you friend zoned her too, and then you're like, wait, I friend zoned you. You didn't friend zone me.
And they try to own it.
And you're like, and then you both end up hooking up, and you're like, who won here?
Yeah, it
Who won
sounds very
this?
mature of you.
Who won this? Yeah, yeah. That's how you
Totally.
handle things. Like it's not real, but we all think that shit. But if you get in a friend zone by someone you like, you're not gonna try to get out of there.
Always.
Always.
Jenna.
We can act like it's the adult in us to just respect that. No, you try to get out of there.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of experience with this because
Because you don't have friends.
I have no friends.
Just
You
kidding.
guys
I
are
love it.
literally my only friends. So thanks for coming over.
It makes me more attracted to a girl that I've already just kind of liked.
Yeah, for
if
sure.
I get friend zone.
Oh, 100%.
Is that right? I know. Is that just the reality of it?
No.
That's how we
Absolutely.
know you're not in therapy.
I got to tell you.
As I'm pouring, listen, I'm over here spitting the truth as I'm
I'm
pouring
just
the rest
saying.
of this prosecco.
That is a very
This bitch
telling
just gave me
statement.
blue balls, and I'm harder than ever.
Very
Hard
telling
as a
statement.
rock.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, that's how I feel. I don't know. There's got to be at least a few listeners listening to this. So thank God. Because everyone ain't listening and ain't going to therapy either. So they'll hear this and they'll go, okay, because this is what happens. It's like, okay, I may kind of have like a thing for a girl, right?
Sure.
And then you're like trying to inch, give a little bit. Is this working out? Here's like a little joke. How hard you laughing? And then you're like, oh, wait, she has friend zoned me. And then it's like that, like little, now it's a roadblock that
Sure.
you like got to get through. So you got to go a little bit harder, just like stay on track. Because you're not ready to get off track yet. You know what I mean? So you're
course.
on track. You got to get through this roadblock. Then you get through the roadblock. How many successful relationships have you heard that have been like, I didn't want nothing to do with him or her when I first met him, and they fucking fought through that roadblock, and now they're 60 years engaged
Sure.
and
60 years
or
engaged.
married. Well,
That woman is
engaged,
gonna murder that
engaged
dude.
because listen, the guy probably has
That's
commitment issues.
actually a
You know what I
relationship.
mean?
Sure.
The guy's
Honestly,
probably
that's
got commitment issues, so they're probably 60 years engaged.
Swear to God, Zako, if you want to be 60 years engaged, I'll do it. I mean, that's the commitment I can
you say
give
the
you.
truth, and now I'm engaged.
Yeah.
All you
Well,
got to do is say
there
the
you
truth,
go.
and you find fucking
That's
love.
true. That's true.
I'll be in a 60-year engagement.
Zako Ryan,
with
the
you.
love
That's all I
doctor,
can handle.
everybody.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I don't understand what friend zone is because I feel like for me, every time I've met people and you sort of know. Like I've never just like gone on a date with someone and been like, I want to be more, and then the other guy's like, I just want to be friends. You kind of figure it out, right? Like you both leave and you kind of have an idea of how that's going to go, right? But one of my really good friends, one of my best friends here, actually, I've known him. He was one of the first people I met. We met, this tells you how long ago this was. It was on Match.com. And we met and he turned out to live right next door to me. And now he's like been my best friend for 15 years. We went on like 2 dates and we're like, yeah, this isn't it. But now he's like my best friend. That happens to me, but it's never like the opposite where like I've wanted to get into something with somebody or vice versa. I don't think I don't think. At least I don't know.
I would
no
say you're
one's ever said it
lucky.
to me.
I think you're lucky. I feel like it's fair. Probably just in this room, Hannah and Zako both had it happen.
Yeah.
I've done it. Me, myself, there's three.
You're good at this.
Yeah, I am quite good at it. Both being friend zoned and friend zoning people.
Yeah.
It's the way that I create listeners for us is I just like engage with random people on dating apps and social
That's
media.
true.
And then I friend flip them into the Menage-A-Pod army.
Yeah.
But there are two women in particular.
So that's your story, and you're sticking to it, huh, TJ? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, I mean, I get into...
Why are you on Tinder? Listen, I've got a podcast, and it's
Tinder is for the podcast. If
it
I'm
is in
trying to
the
do
top
work, it's
10 in
Bumble
Apple. Oh, I saw you're on Tinder. We've been dating for 3 months. Listen, it's all for the podcast. Ask Jenna. Who's Jenna?
Yeah. Well, that's how we
you're
met.
not
I was
wrong.
friend zoned.
Yeah,
So I guess it has happened to me. I take all of that back.
See, you
that's
gotta
how we
dig
met.
a little deeper.
Yeah. That's fair.
And
I
the
forgot
truth
about you.
comes out.
I
To be
forgot about
honest,
you.
I'm sitting over here as well, and I'm thinking about the levels of the friend zone and like even rules within the friend zone, because I realize sometimes a friend zone to me is just like, it doesn't mean that I won't even fuck that dude, but it just means the friend zone I create to say we won't date. So
Yes.
it's more to just be like, I'll be a
Right.
little bit more curt. Like literally, I'm not going to shave my pussy. You're going to come over here and Uber home. And that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there is no do not pass go. Do not collect $200. You know what I mean?
So I look at the friend zone as in no pussy.
See, but I know that, but there can be
Right.
even like, I feel like
I don't know,
levels
has
to
to be
that
levels.
shit.
I'm with Hannah here.
All
Levels to the friend zone?
All friends
Yeah.
are
But then
people
it's
that are
not
just
fun
like-
to just make fun of people because we need solid definitions of the friend zone. The friend zone should be you're not fucking.
That's true.
what
Otherwise
your
it's like
friendship- 'cause
friends
then
with
it's just like
benefits.
boring. Because then it's like, are you friend zone?
Yeah.
And then we can make it cute thing. Yeah, we're friend zone. Friend zone. And it's like, no, it's supposed to
I
be
don't
cut
think-
and dry. Hey, you're fucking friend zone, buddy. You're not getting that.
Honestly, I just for one day want to live in your brain, like just to watch you
No, you
just
don't.
like just talk right now.
It's
I feel like there's a
supposed to
lot
be like
going
that.
on up there. You know,
It's supposed to be like that because I'm supposed to go, you're fucking friend zone, idiot. And he's like, well, I don't care because I'm getting the pussy anyways because then you can get through. And now the friend
Yeah.
zone's not a bad place. Friend zone's a bad fucking place.
It is kind of a bad place.
that's fair.
Dark place. And it's a dark place only for people with sexual intentions. That's what I'm trying to say. A friend zone is like if you want to fuck and she's not gonna fuck you in the fucking friend zone.
Well, but if you but if you don't want to fuck, then you're not in the friend zone. You're just friends, and that's a totally different thing.
There, I think you just nailed
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Difference. There's differences. Friends and then friend zone.
Well, and that's what we're saying. But then I was also like friends with benefits, which could be
exactly. Which
Right.
is
I
I mean, there
Opposite.
are so that's
To
like an
your point,
extension
there's-
of the friend zone. It's
Yeah.
an appendage of the friend
Right.
zone.
I think
There
it
are, like-
graduates.
And it's not even the best
It goes
appendage.
friend zone
No.
and then you get the pussy and then it goes friends with benefits.
yeah.
And then, like, when you both find your other significant other, then you're just friends again. And then you just don't tell those
Yeah.
people that you actually had sex. Did you ever fuck that girl? No, we're friends.
Oh man.
Are you
Oh,
friends
man.
with benefits? No,
I'd
we're
wanna know.
friend zone. See, you gotta go back a level. Because no one wants, because then they don't trust you together. You can't go on vacation. You must sometimes want to go to Australia and go on a ayahuasca trip. No, you can't do
I
it.
mean,
It's very
I'm not
specific.
gonna
Told your
I'm not
friend that
gonna
you
put
had
any
sex with her.
humans on blast in Zako and I's life, but just even at the pedestrian level that we do comedy, like I'm a literal rural nobody that people jerk off to. It's not a big deal, but like people already just from if we're like in pictures together, there have been comments made from somebody else being like, "Oh, is that your girlfriend?" You know, so it's like even just like the way things. You know, there's just so many twisted up.
And I go, no,
versions
she's
of-
in my friend zone.
No, but what?
You know what's going to happen is now you are going to say that. You are going to say that now every time after this episode.
But the funny thing is, what I'm saying is, you know, and then people are just like, then you can't even go on a tour together, you know, because of
Yeah.
people's stupid shit about
Yeah.
what that looks like.
That's actually a very good point. If we can get serious for a second. You
yeah.
guys.
Well, so when that's actually
It's
came
like
off
you ought to
something
be serious for a second. You know what I mean?
do it.
Sure,
Like,
sure. Yeah.
Trying to wrangle you three fucking
Yeah,
wild guys
thanks.
in here.
Yeah.
So
that's
glad
it.
you're here for that.
We have a scale. We have a scale we've used with other guests that I call 0 to Zako. When it gets like really off the hinges, that's the Zako end of the scale.
She makes a very good point though, because there's like this interesting outside perspective that goes on that where like the two people can decide that they're like friends, but like the perception from the outside is this, well, how can these two attractive, decently looking people there where there's obviously like a friendship chemistry? Because when you're actually friends with someone, there's like this chemistry there that
Sure.
maybe people don't understand.
Yeah.
How can these two not be fucking?
We also
what I
have
mean?
like
Yes.
we have shared experiences. We come off the same goddamn stage.
Yeah.
There's going to be something in that will create a rapport where it's like even when I think about dating in or out of the friend zone, even the people men that I choose to be like, come out of there. You know,
Yeah.
like, I'm going to tell people you're my boyfriend for 5 weeks. This will be fun on my socials. You know, it's like, whatever it is, but it's
just like it's like war buddies.
but it's at the same time, it's like, I know with all of those, like I've pulled no punches with those men to be like, hey, this is what I'm doing. That thing is not going to change. You know what I mean? I can curb some of my enthusiasm, and I do understand like getting into relationships and being like doing the things that Zako and I do as, you know, as a career. It's like, it's a tough watch, even if you understand it. And I try to be sensitive to the people that I am in like relationships with, as far as like what even appearances look like. But I can't spend a lot of time as a person who's just learning how to protect herself and be herself on stage at every turn, you know, thinking about what the dumb dick inside of me feels about how, you know what I mean? I am appearing in a green room. If I gave my mind to that kind of stuff, I can't give my mind to the stage. And at this point, a relationship is not more valuable to me than the thing that I love. Because comedy right now is my baby, and it's only 4 years old, and I'm not that great a mom, but at the same time, it's like I am cognizant of the strange dads I bring around. And sometimes the only dads that are around are other comics, because they at least understand.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're in the proximity of the playpen.
Yeah.
But a lot of other people, I won't let them even get out of that friend zone, because I understand the limitations on my own professionalism. I understand I'm not that great a comic yet. If a dude, and I'm like such a lover, you know, I cry every time I watch The Notebook and all that other gay shit. So it's like, I know what's in me, you know, but I also know what I'm starting to do. So it's just like, until I get to that place where, you know, if I got a text from a dumb dude, it could like ruin my day and fuck my stage time up, until you get to a place where you're better than that.
Yeah.
You know, and so like until I feel like stronger at times, I don't even like dancing in some of those areas, because it's just like, it's hard to stick, you know, and it's hard to not take things personally when your girlfriend's like, I don't know how many dudes I've had inside of me. You know, and people are like, yes, we're trying to be another one. You know?
We've talked about this on the show before, because I think just from someone who's not in comedy, it's always mind-blowing to me, like when I hear people tell stories like that, because I always think like, God, this is a shitty industry to have to date in, because like you guys, exactly what you said, like you guys have like fans, there's interactions, there's things that like, I don't know, could be misconstrued, right? Or like something you say on stage could offend the person that you're dating. That's hard. That's a hard industry to like date in. So I would have to think a lot of people probably get friend zoned, because like, why? How do you date?
I've legit heard comics talk to me, like other female comics, you know, just in passing about things and being like, oh, they've like made a joke like out loud to me. And then I'm like, oh my God, you should say that on stage. Like that'd be a great tag or whatever. And they were like, no, my husband would hate it. Like that's still something where they were like, you know, and I've heard that out of a woman's mouth who is probably 60 years old and is very funny and I think a great person. But just like to hear that, like where I'm like, oh, I thought she was joking at first, because I was like, oh, you know, I'm a shitty feminist, but like, come on, like there's no way, you know, that you could be upset, because I know her jokes aren't even as like wild as some of the ones I touch.
Sure.
You know, and so I'm just like sitting here, but I have that awareness that, you know, it's just like, this is, when these bombs come out of our mouth, that's one thing, you know, but there are a lot of people that are holding hands with other humans when those go off, and they're not so equipped to be able to balance like whatever they're doing creatively with whatever that is. You know?
I mean, one would hope that you meet someone, when you meet someone, they understand what you do and they can handle it.
Which is why we fuck comics.
Even though every comic tells you not to
I'm
fuck.
the opposite.
As a comedian, do you date other comedians because they understand?
I don't.
Just like celebrities date other celebrities because they get their lifestyle, you know?
No, celebrities date other celebrities so they can get that next role. That's why comics date other comics too. Like, fuck all that. Don't shit where you eat. Like that's the mentality behind the whole thing.
Okay,
want to get down that road.
Brief detour before we get down here. I want to just give everyone an update on the progress of Zako and that bottle of prosecco. It is now almost empty. He's on the last couple inches of what's in his glass.
And it's not even the most offensive thing that I'm seeing at this table right now. The most offensive thing that I'm seeing at this table right now is that Hannah has finished her entire Stan's donut and has somehow, for some reason, pulled off excess amounts of frosting.
The best part of the fucking donut.
I understand, but I just like...
Wanted to piss me off right now? Is that what you
do you want to eat those pieces?
I really do.
I know you should. You can have them. I just like... I only have. I told you.
Not eating like a
Damn
full
it, TJ,
donut.
that was
Why
the
not?
biggest piece, man.
You just eat a donut.
My clothes are only one size. I have to I have to cut corners where I have to cut corners.
Baby Gap boys medium.
Look at this. I look like a hot toddler. Every time I'm out to brunch, just look at me and the cutest 4-year-old in there. Same goddamn outfit. I just have on eyeliner and a sternum tat. And honestly, I just do that shit. So like I said, some Slovakian guy doesn't scoop me up in River North on a walk. And the next thing you know, I'm doing the thing with my mouth I was already doing.
Is now a bad time
Could
to say
happen.
that?
It could happen.
Is now a bad time to say that I'm literally 100% Slovak?
I love
yes,
that.
it is.
Hell yeah, I nailed it.
It's like, I just got my 23 in me. And they were like, no, you're just this. Is that what it is? 23 in me?
23andMe, yeah, that's that's both of those primary DNA things are owned by the Mormon Church, and they use it to conscript dead people into Mormonism.
Wait, seriously?
You're kidding me.
Yeah, you can convert people to become Mormons in the afterlife, and they literally buy these DNA rules so they get your full fucking information. They own both these companies, and they conscript people into Mormonism in the afterlife.
What?
I've never heard
How
that
did-
before.
is it like
I see you reacting pretty viscerally to this. What do you think?
Is it like a...
Are you Mormon, Hannah?
Is it
No.
brainwash?
Are you Amish? I know you're from Indiana.
No.
So you get 23
neither.
in me, and then what? They brainwash you?
Well, I don't know. No, this isn't Scientology. It's the Mormon Church. You have to already be a little brainwashed.
Like, no, they
to
send
buy
you a
into
bunch of Utah Jazz highlights, and then you're like, shit, I don't need
Just come.
electricity.
Knocking on your door. Their Bible.
Are we back into Karl Malone again? Did you carry Karl Malone into today, Zako?
Karl Malone is a
an
horrible
accident.
dude. What can
I carried Carmelo in today, like John Stockton carried him into the finals.
Okay.
Oh, ba-dum-bum.
I'm wearing the same short shorts.
Are these sports references?
Yeah, they are.
Okay. That's why I'm like, I don't know what you're saying.
All right, back to
Words.
pussy, everybody.
Back to the topic at hand. All right, guys. So since we've all been friend zoned and or friend zoned someone, I guess the question is this: when you've had to do it, is it usually like? And this is just for the table. Anyone who's got something to say, throw it on in there. When you've had to do it, is there like an explicit conversation where you're like, "Hey, guy, you're in the friend zone. Stop," or you're just like you change your actions, or you try to be clear with your actions, so it sort of speaks for itself. I can't ask Jenna since she's never apparently done it to anyone.
Oh.
You want to go first?
Go ahead.
You want me to go first? It just depends. I mean, if you're aware of I'm a person that's very aware of social cues, and I can understand like where I'm supposed to be at in this person's life. If they don't want any part of it, it's very easy for me to read. So you usually don't have to have that conversation if you're also willing to be like, yep, friend zoned. Oh, right, I get it.
Sure.
Thank you very much. I tried. You even bought your appetizers that one time. We don't
It wasn't calamari though.
It was a
bring it up.
callback.
Didn't even
Yeah.
ask you to split it. Didn't ask paid for both Ubers, but whatever. Fuck me, right?
Was this yesterday? Why is it so salty?
Anyways.
Okay.
So I guess social cues, but like for people, I think there are also people out there that don't have like very good social cues,
I have autism.
or some form of Asperger's,
Yeah.
Sure.
where you're just like, hey,
Just a little on the spectrum.
guy, no, like ever. You can stop messaging me in descriptive detail about your day. You know what I mean? You might have Asperger's, right? Take your medication and don't come to my house.
But still come to sorry.
Unannounced. I didn't even invite you here. You're out of my window.
But still come
You're
to sorry
telling
for
him
Killin at the Laugh Factory on June 10th.
But you make a good point about like social cues. I think maybe that's why I haven't had to have conversations like this. Is because you're right. You sort of pick up on it, right? Like you're going to know if someone's interested in you or someone just wants to be your friend. Is it really a gray area often?
Well, it's weird now because you can just contact people so easily. So people feel like so well connected to you in just your DMs that
Sure.
they're like,
Yeah.
hey, maybe I can
true.
just keep trying through the DMs. So they feel like if they lost connection with you through being able to like give them a call, right? So maybe people are like, damn, probably shouldn't call her because I'm in this like weird spot. They still have enough confidence to reach out to you through your DMs, right? And then that's typically where you got to be like, hey, like, can you like, I don't know, maybe stop? Well, first you'll move them into that one section where
Restricted?
you don't get the notification.
Yeah, the restricted
Yeah.
box. Yeah, I got like 30 in there right now.
You know what I mean? You'll move more there
They're in
first.
jail.
But then you'll one day you'll wake up one morning and you're like, I don't feel that good about myself. I want to go see what these motherfuckers are talking about.
I call that visiting the
The
prisoners.
funny thing is, I have the most psychotic people in mind. I mean, and I love them. Some of them are my family. But I'm like sitting here and laughing because I'm like, I have no one in the restricted area. I don't think, and it's literally because I like my sins to go before me. I like to see right with my family, right along the people I care about, and bookers. I want the craziness. I want the dude that's messaging me.
Oh, you don't put the people you care about over there. Let me tell you.
No, I just mean I like them all together.
Those are the ones you
I
like.
like them all together.
Oh,
This is not
you
like
don't
a-
have friend groups that you shouldn't introduce to other friend groups? Because I got to tell you, I do. I got a friend group over here, and I'm like, what are you doing Friday night? I'm like, I'm with this friend group. Can I hang out? And I'm like, trust me, they don't like you. Like, I know this group of friends doesn't like you.
And I'm
You've never met them.
And I'm not trying to explain to this other friend group why I use an accent with the other friend group.
Right,
That's weird.
exactly. Now I gotta like not use vernacular, and you're like, "Why aren't you using vernacular?" And you're like, "What the fuck's going on? You don't even act like this, Zachary. Who's Zachary?"
Whenever people call you Zach, it trips me out.
Yeah, that's how you know they're like my old friends.
Yeah, for sure.
I love that you just use the word vernacular.
Vernacular, yeah, it's like
It's a big
you got
one.
bad circulations and your veins pop out.
That's totally it.
So
Varicose.
Totally, yeah. Vascular, varicose.
Such a piece of shit.
so close. You were so close.
All right, so
He knows dumb dudes are my type. That's why he keeps smiling at me through his bubbles. He's like looking at me through these effervescent eyes.
I love
As he's-
veins. That's how
as
crazy women are. Men are like, for men, they're like, are you like an ass guy or tits guy? This is how simple men are. They're like, you got two choices, ass guy or tits guy. We're like, yeah, ass. With women, they're like, what do you like? And they're like, brains, intelligence, veins. See, that
Yeah, I
you
want
think.
my-
Men don't think that much.
want-
we need to start thinking more.
I want his forearms to look like a penis. Can
Or
I
maybe
get
just
that?
need a little bit more.
Or
you
just
know?
like a penis
Men
to look like
go
a
a
penis.
little bit deeper.
Sure.
I mean, I wish his penis looked like a penis. Then
Are they out here looking like things other
Standard
than
issue,
penis?
maybe.
Standard issue.
I wish there was more
listen,
of a
the
stand-
prosecco is gone.
Is
all
this
right.
like a limited release penis? What's
As
wrong with
I'm
this
pouring
one?
the end of the Lamarck out, I'm like, I just wish his penis looked like a penis. This is my life right now. This is what I do on Saturday when I show up 2 hours late to a podcast because I can't park my 10-foot tall white van.
Great ref. All right, guys. Well, do we think it's possible to transition? If you have been friend zoned, do you think it's possible to change a platonic friendship to a romantic relationship? Have you ever done that? Hannah, why don't you go? Have you ever done that?
It's like, shut the fuck up, Zach.
Zach, we've heard enough of you, Lamarco
I don't
boy.
know. I just feel like I just have such a high tolerance for bullshit, and I am at times full of bullshit myself. So I've been in a lot of situations with human beings that I feel like I wouldn't necessarily even honor today. But I think that I'm never like, I don't. If somebody's in a friend zone here with me currently, if you can hear the sound of my voice and you're like, oh my God, I want that gravel to wrap around my dick one day. I can't wait to introduce Squirt Curry to my mom. It's going to be so cute. But if you hear that and that's you, you know,
Squirt
I'm not
Curry.
saying there is no ability for me to not, I could take, like, I'm always willing to give you a tryout. Like, if you want to try out of the friend zone, you can come and flex, but you better do something that is so fucking magical. You better make me laugh harder than the people that I like am in the trenches with. You better just show me some kind of like grace or understanding that all the other people do not. You better do whatever. You maybe just need to last the test of time while I'm doing something and building my fucking dreams and understand, you know, my slit isn't going anywhere, and all you can do is try to be every day better. And either way, even if 7 years from now and you crunch every day and you jack off to my podcast and you know everything about me and I find you in my bushes and it's still not the way, I promise you being every day better will make you a better person in general, and you'll be equipped to take that L in person and hopefully stalk someone else.
This podcast has been brought to you by Adderall.
I'm back on Coke, Mom. That's amazing. I relapsed.
I'm gonna give an answer for the listeners who come here to actually get some advice.
Which people actually do that.
They do.
We have people,
They do.
we have people
they-
reach out and be like, I can't
They
afford
do.
therapy and I
And
love
now-
your show.
Hey, that Zako guy. I got a question for him.
Yeah. I think it is possible to get out of a friendship into a romantic relationship. I think if you do, the healthy way to do it, of course, is to have the conversation with someone and just be honest and be like, hey, listen, like, here's how I feel, right? Like, be an adult and just say how you feel. But I think you have to be ready for the fallout there, because if they say no, your friendship may never be the same. So you have to really be sure that this is what you want and be able to approach it, right, openly and honestly, but be prepared for somebody to be like, no, and then be weird around you afterwards.
For
I mean,
sure.
it just is what it is, you know? I mean, hopefully the best case scenario, someone is like, yeah, I feel that way too. Let's dig into this and see what it is. But I don't know.
You
got to be prepared.
I had one work out for me like really, really well. There was someone that I'd met on a dating app like 3 years ago.
But just for the pod.
But just for the podcast.
It's all just for the pod.
Listen, I got a podcast.
Started for the pod, stayed for the pussy. Her name was Pam.
That should be like
fact
your
that those are all
tagline.
P's? Oh my God.
I'm an English major.
There you go.
I'm an articulate twat. We're good.
Oh my God. I wish her name was Pam now. The story would be so much better. No, we matched on the dating app. I ended up like the next day getting back with an ex-girlfriend, and then we just kind of fell off, connected on Instagram, and over like 2 years, literally we just became friends on Instagram. We talked like every day. It was never like super flirtatious. Occasionally it was. And I would maybe like once every 2 or 3 months, I'd be like, hey, we should go out sometime. Hey, we should go out sometime. And it was always no. And then finally last year, after 18 months of that, she said yes. And it wasn't like I wasn't being creepy or stalkerish, but she said yes. And we ended up
You were being persistent.
Yeah. I will say the
years.
reason why I told
So
this, dude, she said yes. We dated for like 9 months ish. Totally broke my heart. But I made a TikTok video, or it was my first video, the one that went kind of like like it had 100,000 views or whatever, was me celebrating like her saying yes. And I'm doing this dumb fucking dance. The amount of a year after it was up, a bunch of people found it, like all like younger feminists, and started being like, you're a sexually harasser and a bully. And like,
wow.
It got like several thousand comments in one day of people just being
Because
like,
those people don't have confidence in themselves.
yeah, I was like,
Shooters gotta shoot.
how do you get out of the friend zone if you can't ask? I
Shooters
wasn't
gotta
like,
shoot.
Go on
Yeah.
a date or I'm gonna stalk you. I was like,
Yeah.
let me take
Again.
Steph Curry
Stalk
changed
you
the
again,
Steph Curry
you know?
changed the NBA by taking shots. He knew damn well he wasn't supposed to be taking. And guess what he said? I'm gonna change the league for it then, because that's not gonna change myself.
I'll take a
And
step
you know what
back.
he didn't do? He didn't change himself.
Is that what you're trying to do
TJ,
for the comedy game?
You don't change your thing. Something like that. It's probably not that well thought out.
One bucket hat at a
Probably
time.
not that well thought out. But if you ask me, I'll say, sure. Did you develop a narrative? All right, we'll go with that. Because I've just been kind of winging it. You know what I mean? So if it accidentally forms something, write it down. I'll use it as a bio and fuck right off. This podcast has been brought to you by Adderall.
You know, I've never done Adderall. I'm just naturally high strung and annoying. I just wonder what it would be like if I was on Adderall. It'd probably be rough.
Look across the table. That's what it would be like.
Do you see that laser like eagle look in
Look across
Zako's
the table.
eyes?
You like it? Damn,
Do you,
that
do you
When I
see
was-
that
that
vacant?
prosecco caffeinated.
Do you
What
see
is-
that vacant stare? That also has a.
You rip the label off. It's like a Four Loko. Gotcha, bitches. We're back to
This
2000.
podcast is brought to you by Four Loko.
Welcome back to 2010, motherfucker.
It's Sparks.
Yeah. Sprays up. The dog's like, get it out of here.
All right, hold on one second.
He's like, we haven't been recording.
No, I haven't. We did do that one time.
We're just
Well,
getting
gonna have to pop
started.
another bottle there.
We're just getting started.
Well, you should.
I'll
There's a
have
whole
to
other
prop
bottle in there that
Zako
needs to be-
up on stage.
Zako, I know what time
I'll
it's
miss
time for
my
your show
own
tonight.
performance.
See, it's like not. I don't even know if it's like a real show. It's like a private party. And me and Manny are doing 10 minutes each, and they're paying us each $50. There's no mic. They're getting us drunk.
That's for sure a show.
That's cool.
That's a show.
Yeah,
I
we're
I
going.
used
If you're
to.
being paid for it, yeah.
yeah. It's a housewarming party.
But you can, dude, you can totally do that drunk off your
fuck
ass.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the edibles pictures. I know how you roll.
I don't care. I chose the weed route last night.
Yeah, we went hard into the greenback.
We went hard into the green pastures last night. We were running through there like velociraptors through the tall grass. My guy, you know that
How
shit?
does a velociraptor light a bong with such short arms? Though? Like that seems like a problem.
Yeah.
That was why God had to get rid of him. He was like, well, you can't smoke the best shit I'm about to put on earth. You shouldn't
dude.
even fucking be here.
I wasn't even supposed to be
Comet
on
bomb,
stage.
Kamehameha. God was the first person to Dragon Ball Z the earth. Get out! No more dinosaurs.
What is happening right now? I didn't even follow that train of
Four
thought. Is it
Loko.
because I'm not high? Like, what?
I
She
wish.
ripped it off, her shirt off. And like, guess what else is sponsored by Four Loko?
Hannah's got a new tattoo on her left tit. It's like the Four logo. Like,
Yeah, she's like, speaking of it, it's like
I've
you
got that. I've got plenty of advertising space available on my body if anyone wants to reach out in
Advertasting.
it. Well,
merch that merch for merch.
if you want to do a little advertising with me on my DMs, slide in there. I already have a tattoo artist in mind, but just let me know, how much that's worth to you, and we'll put you in a little thought spot. McAllister's Roofing.
Zako just kicked my Jordans with his Crocs, and
I
I'm
noticed
contemplating
that.
his death.
I noticed that. I was gonna actually write you an apology about it.
I stepped on
I
the
want you to know
the
how much
back
I'm
of
sorry.
Zako's croc, and he turned around at me like I
No, it was. This is why it pissed me off. I'll tell you, because we're walking, and she's walking behind me, and she steps on the back of my Croc slippers, right? And I give her a second to go, hey, my bad. The my bad never came. So then I look back to be like, give me the fucking my bad. You know what I mean? I look back, I'm like, you know? And she just doesn't even look at me. She's walking down by my, I'm like, still looking. And she looks at me and she goes, what? And I'm like, what do you mean what? Dude, you stepped on my Crocs. These are $30. And she was like,
They're
fuck
the
your Crocs.
ugliest fucking Crocs
And
I've
I was
ever
like, you
seen.
know what? You're right, Hannah. Fuck these Crocs.
Actually, being in a room with Hannah is giving me a little PTSD because that's my ex-wife's name. And so anytime I'm around someone named Hannah, I'm like,
It's crazy transition.
I'm sorry. How long were you married?
Fuck your Crocs. Listen to my divorce.
no,
Yeah.
it's not that big a trans. It just popped into my head. I don't really care that much about it. Back to the Crocs. No, the only reason that made sense to me is because she once beat me with a pair of Crocs. And I was like, this feels
Hannah?
relevant.
What?
Yeah, this Hannah. The last time she was here, she was like, get on my DMs, you weirdo, and hit me with a Croc.
With my Crocs?
Yeah.
Probably.
These
I
are
don't know many
famous
people who
Crocs.
own Crocs.
I
so-
don't.
Crocs are coming back in style because it's that like don't care
It's like COVID chic.
but care. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure.
Like I care enough to. Here's how
I'm
much
gonna
I.
take
Here's
your
how
word
much
for
I care.
that.
I care so much that I gotta act like I don't care.
Right.
Yeah.
I need therapy.
Yeah, man.
There have been at least 4 things you've said in the last 10 minutes where I've thought that.
I go, I wear slippers because I'm lazy, and it's like you tied that bandana around your head.
This is true.
You have time. You know what I mean? You have some fucking spare time. Shave my pubes
go.
into a perfect square.
All right.
Can't.
I can't. I don't have that kind of
What are you going to shave a new perfect
Maybe
square?
after all that.
pubes.
You should.
That's what I was thinking.
Prosecco.
Why not? You could definitely do it, man.
Thank you.
Do like a tic-tac-toe board. Do some X's and O's down there.
Oh, that's a lot.
You
That's
could do
a lot.
I don't think
You get some weird fans. You get a fan to do it.
That's going to take a lot of time, you know,
yeah.
and precision.
Yeah.
Steady hand.
I don't
not
even tie these
after all
bandanas.
that
I take
drink.
them off like a tie, and then I just put them back on. I like keep it tied in the back because I can't even tie a tie or a bandana. So I put this thing on. Take
Can't
it
tie a
off.
tie. Yeah, I didn't have a dad either. I get it, man. I can't tie one.
You know what I mean? Loop, swoop, and pull. What the fuck are you talking
Never
about?
heard of it.
I
That's
can
what
do a
clip-ons.
double Windsor.
What's
Yeah,
that?
There's
Is that like when you go to Canada and you lose your money and your house?
It's when you're double penetrated in Quebec.
So the double. I went to Canada, pulled a double Windsor. We ain't got no house no more, baby. Pack the bags. Call your sister in Vermont. We gotta move. Pulled a double Windsor.
that is ridiculous. All right. Well, we're gonna. I'm still here for the hang, but this topic is off the rails. So,
Yeah.
and the topic wrap. The topic wrap.
It's fine.
You're
We're good.
totally crushing it.
We're good.
You are crushing it. So, one last thing to talk about on the topic. What are some things we all think that you should do that, or you shouldn't do that basically guarantee you'll remain in the friend zone? Like we said, like shoot your shot for sure. But where is that line? You don't want to be creepy. You don't want to have a TikTok video where thousands of feminists are calling you a bully or a sexual harasser. So what is the line? Like if you like someone and you've shot your shot and they've said no, do you stop? Anybody got any suggestions?
That's a good question.
I feel like Hannah's probably friend zoned more people than anyone at this table.
That's an incredibly, there's hardly any line with that. And it just as a person who, you know what I mean? I flirt via my DMs, like just in the same way as I receive that flirtation.
Sure.
But I think that the only thing I can really say on the entire matter is that the only thing that bothers me ever is if I tell you finally at some point to stop for whatever reason and you continue to send me anything above and beyond whatever that message is that is clear and gracious as I often am, even when I don't need to be.
Sure.
When a person has already pushed me to a place that's beyond creepy, but I'm still being like, hey, you're a human. I implore you to just please leave me alone, you know? But aside from that, you can continue, like I said, to remain in there. I just, you know, energy is, I was a piece of shit for 15 years when I was drinking and I'm not that now. So it's like, whatever, you know, people are shifting and turning into things all different times and, you know, our feelings change. So I feel like if you're in there and you're not hurting anyone legitimately, you're fine. But if it's somebody at some point, at any point, when somebody says stop, that's the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't be
Easily.
creepy.
And always.
Pushy.
Let me grab that alley oop.
Grab it.
Send a public
take it
service
home.
announcement to you weird old dudes, man. All right. When the no comes, because I'm all here. I'm an advocate for shoot your shot.
Oh, for sure.
Shoot your shot.
Empty the
I'm
clip.
confident
Empty
in
the
yourself.
clip.
Empty the clip. Pull up from half court once in a while. With time still on the shot clock. Who cares? 13
Do it.
seconds. Pull up.
I feel
changing
like
the
we
game.
should make this a drinking game. Like whoever's listening, anytime you make a sports
Oh, it's
reference,
me too. So they
they
Pull
can
up.
take a drink.
But
there you go.
When that no comes in, please, for the love of God, have some respect for yourself and that person.
Yes.
And get out of there. And here's why, right? One, for her, right? Or for I say her because it's probably you, stupid dude, listening to this right now. It's probably fucking you, man. Have some respect for her. Let her go and be fucking happy. All right, she doesn't want you. And have some respect for yourself, right? There's other people out there that you deserve to pull up from half court for, right?
Sure.
And have some respect for me, who is not a fucking creepy person and has to deal with the repercussions of you being a fucking creepy person. And now I got to deal vicariously being sharing the same dick as you. We got them. We both got dicks. And all of a sudden I'm a fucking creepy guy because you're a creepy guy and you and your whole creep troop have been creeping around all this fucking place. It's all the world creeping people out. And I got to be part of your troop just because I got a dick in the tribe. Stop being fucking creepy. When the no comes because you're fucking with me now. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I'm like,
Wow, I really love that.
That was actually really good.
I didn't know where you were going with that, but that was good.
you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
100%.
Yeah.
He dropped into the low and slow voice, and he said creepy like
When the
42
no
times in
comes, the
47
no
words.
comes because you're fucking it up for the whole tribe. Go back to
Yeah.
your cave, you fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, man, another thing to add on to that. As someone who does spend a fair amount of my time shooting my shot in the DMs, I've never rude, never over the top. If it's like, yeah, shoot your shot, like tell someone you think they're cool or whatever. But when it's too much, it's fucking too much. And that moment is usually pretty clear. And if you think it's not clear, then go to therapy. You need therapy.
I also want to caveat this with like, in your instance, the story that you gave earlier about the girl that you ended up dating,
Yeah.
the reason you guys weren't going out on dates was usually because one of you was in a relationship, right?
Yeah, we
so
kept
it
like
wasn't,
cycling wrong.
Yeah,
Like,
so
our periods hadn't synced up yet.
I think I think that's the difference, right? Like it depending on why you get the no. If someone's like, "Oh, I'm actually in a relationship or I'm dating someone," different than someone just being like, "No, I'm not interested." Right? So if you don't be a shitty person and like leave someone in the gray area if you're not interested, period, whether or not they have a girlfriend, boyfriend or not, right? So I think that's the difference because I think like I wouldn't be offended if someone asked me repeatedly if like they saw that I broke up with a boyfriend or something on whatever
Yeah, you know when a
social.
woman changes her Facebook status to single and the
100%.
next photo has 347
yeah,
likes.
100%. And that wouldn't insult me because I'd be like, okay, well at least you waited until I like got out of this relationship and you weren't creepy about it. So that I think there are caveat.
What's your go-to statement to somebody to let them know? We'll go around the table because this is a family affair.
To let you know that they're
not
not
into it?
interested.
I'm definitely gonna give mine. But what's your statement when you let someone know? Okay, I've reached my point, and now is the time to know that he's about to be friend zoned. What do you say to this person?
Well, I think it depends. If someone's getting super creepy, then I just block them. But if I'm trying to be nice and it's like someone I want
You
to
gotta
be
say
friends
something.
with,
He's
yeah,
reached
yeah.
that point of like creepiness. You gotta say something to him. This is some advice to the audience. Maybe something you
Yeah.
can be like, this is what you could say. What
I'm
would you
just
say?
usually pretty blunt. I will just say something like, I'm really flattered. I really appreciate it. But just to be very clear, I'm not interested. It's as easy as that.
That's good. That's a
Yeah.
good one. Straight to
Like
the
straight to the
cut
point.
dry to
like,
the point.
because
That's
it
good.
leaves no gray area for them to say, oh, well, now that you're single, right? It's like,
Right.
you know, you just have to be, and it's easier to say because it's not in person. So I don't know if I would have been that, if I would be that bold if we were face to face. But like if it's, you know,
You do
on a
it through
text
the- you do it through the
message
DMs?
or a
'Cause
DM
you have the choice.
or it doesn't matter. I like just something written and however you want to
What would you
write
do?
it.
Would you do the writing technique?
Letter.
Would you call someone?
So generally, I text them, and I've actually had Jenna ghost write me texts before
Yeah.
to get rid of people.
This is you got a fucking machine going over
Oh,
there.
yeah. Like I literally was like, okay,
Well-oiled.
this is the situation I'm presented with. I've got to end it with this person and sort of like delicately and politely do that. How do I handle it? And she was just like, copy
Call
paste.
your business
Here it
partner.
is.
Is this podcast doing better than I think? You're like, let me call my business partner. What the fuck is going on here right now? You have just bottles of champagne to give you guests. I was like, do you want sparkling water? Because I got this with my EBT card. What do you do? Do you go the typing tech route or do you
I go,
call?
well, usually, because most of the time I communicate with 95% of people, even people whose numbers I have and people who are my friends. Like
Yeah.
you, I have your number. We text sometimes by DM you more than anything because that's just where I'm always at.
Right.
So
Which, by the way, I don't after gym pics. I don't need those anymore. You just
yeah,
Those nudes,
it's
he's
just gonna be
good.
pictures of me on the toilet, pictures of my shits, and That's the type of bond I'm trying to make with you. No, it's usually in the DMs, and I'll say, like, I've had actually fairly recently someone who I had previously matched with on a dating app who I'd maintained just friendly communication with over several months, and she started really crossing the line. And one night, she called me several times in a row and left like some very drunk, kind of unhinged sounding messages, and was being very aggressive on social media. And finally, I was just like, look, I'm sure you've got a lot going on. I think you seem great, but like at the time I'm at in my life, like I can't handle this level of drama and engagement. And we just like, and I was trying to be like polite and delicate about it. Cause if you think someone's struggling, whether it's real struggle or whether they really are having like mental issues, you don't want to be the thing that triggers someone or pushes them or whatever. So it's like, be succinct, be honest, be forward. But I try to always like delicate, kind of code it a little bit.
I'm different. I'm just always high and I'm like, kill yourself. You won't do it. Prove it. Please. Right now. I'll help. Do you need $25 in your Venmo? Send me.
Is that your route? That's
like I'm like, please, like we need less cowards. Like step out of the way.
Hilarious.
Please, like it's in my bushes or in front of traffic. Like go. Like please go.
Jump. Wherever you're at.
Send me your pen. I'll go pick it up.
Head dive off this king size mattress. I don't. Y'all are adults. I just don't.
You just ghost?
I just don't.
You don't answer at all.
Like, you have a good time.
Leave them
That's
on red.
between you and these DMs. Because then what I do is I just move them over into the non-notification section, and they just have a good time with themselves over there.
If it's a person that I can clearly tell that I just like, there's no need to have any further conversation beyond even static silence, then I will no longer have that. I won't even go to any extremes until I have to go to those extremes.
Yeah.
However, I am pretty not creative about the way I conversate, but in the same way that I'm very open and transparent on stage, I am also off stage, but I am a person that loves other people and I'm not an asshole. So when I do communicate with others, it is through a respectful lens. You know, even in my DMs to creeps, like you have to honestly just like be a bad person or make me feel threatened to get me to be antagonistic to you and my words. You can even be like hateful towards me and I will not engage. That's not why I meditate and do the shit that I do. But sometimes, you know, there has to be for every case, as you know, Jenna, especially as a female, it's like, it's a case by case basis.
Sure.
And sometimes you just have to make a choice based on how we feel in our gut as to how like the best way to tell someone no is, you know, and we never know until we're actually in the moment, whether that was the right decision or not. And that's kind of the unhinging thing about being a female at times is that, you know, no matter what we're doing it to try to protect ourselves. But either way, we're still at the mercy of a man's reaction.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter, like the web, you know, the web has space, but those people know where I am because I'm on the web.
Yeah.
You know, and this is something that I have to do for my job, but it's something that I'm aware of and that I just like, I want to be careful at all times because it's not just for my own safety, but it's just like, what does a person think, you know, based and feel on what they do in messages. And, you know, we're in such a weird time now where people can have these, you know, people are unwell. You know, we all have our own mental illnesses, you know, but people can truly like fabricate, especially with like entertainers. You know, like they can, where it's like there could be a person out there who has like a whole house, like Robin Williams in 1 hour photo of just pictures of me, you know, and then they find them later and that person, you know, but that's the kind of crazy stuff that, you know, this happens when you give people this kind of access.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm even now just kind of learning how to navigate waters of just being like, don't even respond to that because this is like, I can't respond to all the messages anyway. Some aren't worth the time, but sometimes you have to though, because a thing, if it goes unchecked and if you don't say something almost kind of cunty, it's like, it could go on
forever,
infinitely.
Right.
And then that person's literally at your show.
Right. Well, it's interesting because you said something a little bit earlier and made me think of this, was that like as women, I also think generally speaking, and I mean, you know, whatever, everyone's different.
That could be
right?
in the name of your next podcast.
Generally
speaking.
Ooh,
I like that.
How many of these do I need to have? I already have a radio show and this. Like I can't. I'm outside.
Jenna really speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, Jenna really speaking. Oh shit, we got t-shirts out here. Everybody go to our merch shop. We've got t-shirts.
That's perfect.
T-shirts and Adderall.
You're hired.
For sale.
You're hired.
We got t-shirts and Adderall.
Can that be our podcast? T-shirts and Adderall?
T-shirts and Adderall.
So what I was going to say was like, generally speaking, I think as women, we try to also tend to give responses based on other people's feelings. At least
sure.
I do, right?
Same.
Like whereas because it's very telling even just by our responses, right? But the difference between, well, maybe not yours, but like with you, Zako, like that was a very like male way to handle that. I feel like where you didn't give a fuck about anyone's feelings or whatever. You're like, I'm just gonna move you over.
Well,
and ignore
it comes
you.
after
Whereas
time because it wasn't always like that. But what happens is it just you realize that this isn't gonna stop. Right.
Yeah,
so like, especially
yeah.
when you start into like an entertainment industry or when you start using like a social media for entertainment purposes. Right. So for instance, like my Instagram is just for comedy. I just post my comedy. There's not like too much of my personal life going on. Anything I post has something to do with pushing my brand, right?
Sure.
Pushing my shows, whatever it is. But then when so when people start to be able to contact you and it's just Zako Ryan at this entertainment level and not Zako Ryan as a human being, you realize like these messages aren't going to stop coming. So what am I going to do? Am I going to get mad at every single person and message them? Or am I going to go, yo, that's between you and God. And
Well,
I'll move
that's a
you
good
over
point.
to the non-notification section and you deal with that on your own.
Yeah.
And another thing, like to me is I've just made this choice in life where I'm not trying to tell people or like send a message right now. You know what I mean? Like I'm trying to figure myself out without going to therapy. You know how hard that is?
Yeah.
It's difficult.
Pretty fucking hard, man.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure myself out, and in doing so, I can't let these people like just message me wherever the fuck they want, and then I gotta care about it every time. So I've just chosen not to care. Put them into that non-notification section and let them figure it out by themselves.
You know, and honestly, it would be great.
That's fair.
Being full disclosure, it'd be great if everyone could give everyone a full explanation. But we don't owe anyone that at all. And
You
if,
don't owe
and
these
if what
people.
and if what's best for your mental health and your just overall headspace is to cut somebody off entirely, then do that.
And often, as somebody who gets messages that roll in for all different types of reasons, from everything like, Hannah, thank you for your sobriety, and you know, like what you say about mental health and all those, to, oh my God, your abs, and you know what I mean, like, your heart, you know, whatever.
It is hard pushing those sobriety messages.
Eggplant, but you know, all of it is like,
As he drinks.
He poured
As he
literally 3 milliliters out of the bottle of the champagne bottle. It was like squeezing.
It's an eyedropper amount.
Fucking
That's so
ridiculous.
but it's just like, it's par for the course, you know.
Totally.
And I don't like even let myself get like where I'll look at somebody sending me like the flame emojis and I'm not like, ugh, what a creep. I'm just like, oh, you put that up and you got a response. So it's not like I even care.
Yeah.
But you know, there just are some times where, like I said, I've gotten better about just being like, hey, I'm emotionally unavailable.
Yeah.
And like,
You know,
to
and I
the people
am,
listening
and that's
too.
truly like some things. And also even now starting to podcast more with people and just like being able to like have people that are listening to me and wanting to like actually get to know me, people that want to seek to understand who Hannah Roeschlein is as a comic. Like I have the ability now to get on things like this and explain things like this in the hopes that, you know, someone hearing this understands that it's like, even if it's not my DMs, that they're like, oh, this is actually not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not personal. And there's all these things. It's like I said, if I'm getting messages from like my buddies and then about my sobriety and then about like a thirst trap or whatever, it's like, first of all, I don't even half the time know what to say back, is why I don't respond. Mm-hmm. You know, like somebody will send me like a whole long paragraph and I'm about to go on stage and I know it's so important, but like, how do you even respond to that thoughtfully?
Yeah.
You know, and then
Yeah.
you think I'm going to get back to a DM. Like I don't, like my brain is already on to the next thing. But then, you know, somebody's sitting on there and is like, why is they're not responding?
It
Well,
shows as
there's
red,
like the-
God damn
You
it.
know, and
The
you're
social
like,
the
what?
social part about that is we feel so close to these people when they message us in our DMs that we feel like if we don't respond, we're being rude.
Yes.
And that's the strange
Agreed.
thing. So like that's really like the answer. Like all jokes aside, that you do not have to respond to these people.
Yeah.
You don't owe them a response. Just
Yeah.
because you reached out to me does not mean I owe you a response. And it doesn't make me an asshole for not responding.
Well, and-
you know, back in the day, if you sent me a letter, I had a chance to figure out whether I wanted to call a fucking horse
True.
and send another one back to you. But now we have this weird thing where like you can just send me a DM and if I don't respond, all of a sudden I'm an asshole. And that's the thing I see all the time too, is someone will message me, someone will message me again, someone will message me again over and over. And it's just like little
sorry,
like,
Zako.
emojis or things like this. And then next thing you know,
That's
they're calling
awkward.
And
you.
I'm sorry, Hannah.
That's
The next
awkward.
thing you
okay.
know, they're calling
It's
you an
okay.
asshole. Like in your DMs.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
I get it, man. Like I understand. It's just the way you look at it. Like I understand, like if I were to message someone, and I've done it too. I've like messaged people before and they haven't messaged me back. And I've been like, oh, this person's an asshole. And I for sure thought that. So I'm not saying like I'm separate from that or this only happens to me. But like the reality is when you really think about it, like this is not an organic conversation. This is still snail mail that just gets there a lot faster. These people do not owe you a conversation just because you reached out to them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And if they don't, that doesn't make them an asshole. That just means like this conversation doesn't add to their narrative right now.
Yeah,
Right?
sure. You're right.
And I think that is a great kind of closing point here. That does not just, if you're a comedian or a podcaster or a content creator, if you're just a random ass person and someone's in your DMs, you do not owe anyone any access. You don't owe
random.
them.
That doesn't even matter. And this is to the layperson. This is to the anybody. Someone listen. Like you have to protect your being. Like you have to put barriers up. Your other people's happiness and other people's feeling of self-worth is not on you to bear. And that's the problem that we have in relationships, in friendships, in any of this shit. Their shit is not, of course, empathize, have an understanding. But as soon as you start to feel like if I don't respond to this person, I'm an asshole, you don't have strong enough barriers for yourself. And you really need to put those things up. So if you're dealing with that, and as everybody does, figure out your self-worth and figure out that you do not owe anybody other than yourself a sense of safety, security, or happiness.
For sure.
All right.
Look at you coming in hot with the wisdom at the end.
See if I can open another bottle of prosecco.
Yeah. We've got one.
We're gonna
it's
let
all
that.
yours.
We're going to let that be the close. And before we wrap up, once again, thank you so much to Zako and Hannah for spending time talking to us this week. And starting with Hannah, because of course, ladies first, why don't you remind everyone again where they can find you online and what performances you might have coming up?
I think the best place to follow me is on my Instagram if you have it. I'm at handerpumprules, like the show Vanderpump, but HAN for my name, Hannah. Otherwise, like on there, you can see me just doing shows, like I said, based out of Indianapolis.
And posting thirst traps.
100% in and on that every other day minimum.
You be posting thirst trap?
A couple.
There's some.
I muted you. So.
No, you didn't.
I see you like them, so don't lie, motherfucker.
No, he didn't. He responds to them. So, like, I'm like, are you?
Yeah. I'm
are
like,
we-
I'm certain
Just
we
a
both
thirsty
respond to
boy.
them.
Ask this bottle of prosecco.
But yeah, that's just all. You can just follow me on there.
Okay, we'll make sure to include that in the show notes. Zako, let everyone know what you got going on.
You can follow me in the followers section of Hannah's OnlyFans account, onlyfans.com/handerpumprules. As Zako Ryan. And come to, honestly, man, just come to Sorry for Killin on June 10th.
At the Lincoln Lodge.
Buy tickets now. There's only like 18 left.
It's in Logan Square. It's a great room. It's cool as fuck. You should definitely go.
A lot of fun.
Jenna, anything from you?
No, I'm good.
Okay, and from me, I've show at the G-Man this Thursday. Link is in our link tree. Go buy those tickets. And if you want to find out more about Menage-A-Pod, head on over to our Instagram at Menage-A-Podcast, where you will find our link tree. That includes links to our Facebook group, website, merch store, and more. A quick thank you to everyone who makes this show happen. Amazing guests like our friends Zako and Hannah. Thanks, guys, so much. And of course, my wonderful co-host, Jenna, I love you so much. Me, because I'm awesome, and our wonderful listeners for downloading and listening to the show. Until next time, share us on your IG stories and find other ways to tell a friend about Menage-A-Pod. And of course, good luck out there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See ya.
Peace.